Hey everybody, this is Jason Creel and you're watching The Lawn Care Life. It's winter time, I'm in the yard, I'm gonna show you some weeds and I'm gonna show you the best products that I know to kill these certain weeds. And not only gonna tell you about them, I'm gonna spray the weeds and I wanna show you the actual results of how it's gonna kill the weeds. So let's show you the weeds, show the products, spray it, we'll come back and check out the results. Thanks a lot. All right, it is early January, and I'll just confess I'm cold, and I'm gonna try to hide the coolness in my voice on the video. I don't wear many jackets. I'm in Alabama, but I do have a couple shirts on. But here's the weeds we're talking about. We've got annual ryegrass. Now this is a Bermuda grass lawn that's pretty much fully dormant. You can look out through there. It's just brown, not dead. I get people from up north that move to the south as my customers and they say, why is my lawn dead in the wintertime? And it's, I have to explain the difference in dead and dormant. But you can see here, I've got a little plastic yard stake because I'm gonna mark where I'm spraying. But you've got the ryegrass popping up in the lawn, and then you've got some Poa Annua, P-O-A-A-N-N-U-A. So look at all this, Poa. And you'll see it just take over people's yard, and it puts up a little seed head later, probably around March or so. It's real hard to mow. It's just difficult, you know. But if your yard, you can see that all that little patchy green stuff. Most of that is Poa. You know, like I said, you got a little bit of ryegrass. So these are the two weeds that I'm wanting to show you. Grassy weeds in a warm season lawn. More green Poa right here. So let's talk about the products that are going to use. And I want to give you a little bit of strategy on what you can do if you've got these weeds in your lawn in the winter, early spring, late spring. And you know, then like I said, we'll spray and show you the result. Talking about the products, as I've mentioned in other videos, the best way to keep the weeds out of your yard is with a pre-emergent. So what you do is you want to put a pre-emergent down before the weeds germinate and let it be watered in, and it will basically, as the weeds start the germination process and they put out a little root, it stops the root from growing. At least this is the way many of them work, and so the weed dies. So you know, it doesn't necessarily prevent the weed from ever existing, it just kills it very early on so that you never actually see it in the yard. These weeds germinate in the fall, so if I would have put out a pre-emergent in September or October, and we usually will mix a Postemergent with it in case we're a little bit late on the pre-emergent, or some of them already germinated. Hopefully the Postemergent will get it. So, you know, in the fall, I'm putting a pre-emergent out like Spectacle Flow on my Bermuda or zoysia lawns, and then I'm mixing a Postemergent like Simazine in there with it, maybe some 2,4-D or Metsulfuron to help with some broadleaf weeds. With that combination, you're pretty much going to prevent most of these weeds. I'm not saying you'll never have a weed pop up in your yard, but the reason these weeds are here to start with is because I purposely did not spray a pre-emergent on this side of my lawn, and on the other side I did spray it, and I can go show you the other side. I'm not going to do that right now because it's not the point of the video, but there's virtually no weeds on the other side of the yard, and this side you can see where you got some Poa. And you might say, well, Jason, why do I need to prevent the weeds with a pre-emergent? Can't I just get rid of them with a post-emergent? Well, it's typically less expensive to use the pre-emergent, and you just get better results. I mean, like I said, now I've got these weeds in the yard, they're visible. If it was a customer's lawn, they'd be like, why do I have weeds in my yard? Where if I'd have done the proper fall application, you know, it would have prevented these on the front end. But now, to get rid of them, here's what you do. Well, let me just finish that thought for just a second. On the pre-emergent, you know, this is Resolute, which is generic barricade. You see the active ingredient, there's prodiamine. So that's one option, a less expensive option. This one is a little more costly, Spectacle Flow, and it is just more effective on Poa, just to be honest with you. And this is what I typically use on my Bermuda and zoysia lawns, and it does a great job preventing the weeds. So you can get, you know, this as a granular form. If you don't have a tank sprayer, you can put it out. It might come with, say, like a 007 with prodiamine. Again, here in Alabama, I'm putting it out September, October, trying to get it out and get it watered in before you start getting those cool fall nights. But that's the pre-emerge side. We're too late for that. We didn't do that. So look, we got weeds. What do we do now? Well, you switch over to a Postemergent to try to get rid of these weeds. And I'm gonna just run through these real quick, some of your options. I'm not gonna spray all these on the weeds. I'm gonna demonstrate 2 of these products and see the results. So, you know, there's like, when it comes to weed control, I think it can be intimidating sometimes for homeowners, even people in the lawn business. They're like, do I need all these products? You know, and of course, I've got a lot more products than this, but this is just, you think for 2 weeds, do I need all these products? Of course you don't. And you can simplify things. I'm just trying to show you some of your options. The thing about the weed control products is some of them will be like really, really good on one particular weed. For instance, let me just use Katana as an example. Katana, to my knowledge, is probably the best product that I know of to get rid of ryegrass in a Bermuda lawn. Matter of fact, last year I had overseeded the large portion of my yard with ryegrass on purpose to keep it green throughout the winter, and I had some thin Bermuda and I just wanted it to be green all winter, and I put ryegrass out. And then when I got tired of that, about, you know, here's the yard now, it's all tore up. We're having work done and got septic tank put in. So anyway, you can picture this whole big area, and it's a fairly large yard, was ryegrass and green last year. Well, my Bermuda grass hadn't filled quite in because I had plugged it the year before, and what I did about March, I got tired of the ryegrass. I got tired of mowing the ryegrass. It was going crazy, and I was ready for that Bermuda grass to start filling in again, and I didn't want it having to compete with the ryegrass. So I sprayed it with Katana. Guess what? It totally wiped out the ryegrass. So, you know, when you're talking about products, the best product I know of to get rid of ryegrass is Katana. Now, Katana will also work on Poa. The point of this is I'm saying one of these might be better on one weed than another. You know, like for instance, Revolver is excellent as Postemergent for Poa. But you're thinking, what I gotta do? I gotta have all these different tanks on my truck, you know, here's a tank, there's a tank, there's a tank, there's a tank. Let me have more tanks, you know, with each one mixed up. No, I mean, there's some that are just gonna be more versatile. So you could use Katana on your ryegrass and on your Poa. It's probably not gonna be as good on Poa as Revolver, but it will work on Poa. You know, if you want to simplify things, Tribute Total is going to be used on your Bermuda and zoysia lawns, but it will work on the Poa and on the ryegrass. You know, Celsius will work on Poa. Certainty is good on cool season grasses. Negate will have some effect on both of these too, I believe. I might need to double check the label on that. So I'm showing you some products. You don't have to have all of these at the same time. Now let me show you what I've got on my actual truck right now. See, I've got Tribute Total. Okay, so what do I do with that? Well, I might have some Dallas grass that's in a zoysia lawn. I want to just pound it with Tribute Total and see if I can get rid of it. Now in a Bermuda grass lawn, I'm probably gonna use some glyphosate and try to get rid of it while the Bermuda grass is dormant. I've got Katana, so if I see you know, ryegrass or something like that, I might spray it with Katana. The other weed I use it for is called Star of Bethlehem, and it looks kind of like an onion. It's a bulb, and for whatever reason, I've had good results with Katana. Where Blindside is this in this tank, it works good on the onions and the wild garlic, but to me not as good on the Star of Bethlehem. So I use Katana, you know, and this is overkill. I mean, you don't necessarily need 4 tanks. I'm just showing you. And I got glyphosate in this tank, and that's mostly for just Dallas grass in a dormant Bermuda lawn. So, you know, I can keep those 4 products. You don't have to have 4 products. You can mix a combination of products. But for today's purposes, I want to demonstrate Tribute Total and Katana. And I'm gonna spray both the ryegrass and the Poa with both of those products, and we'll compare the results. Like I think they're both going to work on both things. Now let me say this, it's early January, the high today is in the 40s. It's not an ideal day, and it's actually going to rain in about 2 hours. Now sometimes our customers get all worked up and think, you know, it's going to rain, is it not effective? That's one reason I think it's a good day to show you this, to show you that it's still going to be effective even though it's going to rain in 2 hours. Now, would it be better if it was 65 degrees today? Yes, it would be better, or at least faster if nothing else. When it's cold weather, and it's going to be cold, you know, I'm in January,
these products are going to be slower. So if I waited and did this application in March, I would probably get faster results. But by March, I mean, these weeds have been in your yard for months, and I'd rather attack them early, even if it's slower. If nothing else, if it doesn't start killing the weed, doesn't discolor it, and you see visual effects, it will most likely at least stop it from growing. And I do have full confidence that the weeds will die. It's just going to take some time, not because the products are not effective, just because it's cold weather, and in cold weather the products are slower to work. So let me spray the products, and then we will come back and I will show you the actual results. I had to set the camera down where I can spray, but what I want you to make sure you understand, you need to wear your proper PPE. I've got rubber boots on, I've got rubber gloves. I'm going to spray the Tribute Total first. I'm going to spray it on the ryegrass and the Poa. Then I'll move to a different section and spray the ryegrass and the Poa with Katana. It's not really comparison which product's better. I just want to give you two options and show you that they both do work. Now, I purposely left some of the Poa untreated so that we can see the difference between the untreated Poa versus the treated Poa. Now switching over to Katana, I'm going to spray a different set of weeds with those. The same weeds, Poa and the ryegrass, but another patch so they don't get confused with the Tribute Total weeds. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick 2 more yard signs in the yard on the ones that I sprayed the Katana on, and I'll put an actual yard sign in the stake so that I can differentiate. The ones with the yard sign will be the Katana ones, the ones with just the plastic stake will be the Tribute Total. Let's check back and show you the result. Well, we're back to check on the results from the Katana and the Tribute Total application, and it's been about 25 days since the initial application. The reason I waited so long is because the weather is cold, and when the weather is cold, these things just work very slow. So I'm going to show you the results, and I would have liked to show you more results from this video, but I don't want to drag it out unnecessarily. So let's show you the results and we'll discuss it. All right, first the ones with the Tribute Total, and what I did was put a stake in the ground that without a sign on it. And you can see here the ryegrass clumps. And we're going to show you a healthy one versus one that's been sprayed. So you can see that weed is definitely struggling, and of course if it was run over with a lawnmower, that would be the end of it. And that's something I try to convince customers of. Sometimes I'll spray their yard full of weeds, and there'll be a bunch of dead weeds that look about like that, and they say, I still got weeds, and I don't know how to say this politely, but it's not a magic act where the weeds literally disappear. They die, and then when you run over them with a lawnmower, they don't come back. But I want to compare that with some ryegrass that has not been sprayed, and you can see the difference in the color as far as what's been treated and what's not been treated. Another example here where it's been sprayed. So I would say the Tribute Total was very effective on the ryegrass. And you come over here and you say, well, how did it do on the Poa? Well, you can see there is some discoloration here. Some more than others, and I can see it. I hope it shows up as well on the camera. But what I've noticed in looking at this is it's not grown very much, and it is turning yellow. Now you compare that with some that has not been sprayed, and what does it look like? It has a lot more color to it, so you can hopefully see the difference in the dark green healthy color of that versus the faded out kind of yellow. So you say, well, Jason, it's been 25 days and it's still not dead. That's kind of the whole point. I mean, it is very slow, and it's because of the weather. Now, if you spray it in March, you're going to get a lot faster results if the weather's warmed up. But I didn't want to wait till March. I mean, ideally, you're preventing these weeds with a cool season pre-emergent. A fall pre-emergent to prevent your cool season weeds. And then if you have them, you want to spray them as early as you can when you see them. So I'm out spraying in January, and let's say I see a little bit of Poa, I want to spray it as soon as possible, because what it does, even though it doesn't just wipe it out overnight, it does reduce it from growing. It greatly slows down the growth, because if you let it continue to grow,
and waiting on warmer temperatures, well, it's going to become a lot larger and more visible in the lawn, like something like that, or something like that. So, you know, I can just showing you that, and it's going to continue to get bigger and put out a seed head. So even though it didn't quite just wipe it out, it greatly slowed down the growth. Now, let's check out katana. In katana, you're going to see very similar results on the ryegrass. A lot of discoloration. So again, very effective. I know, again, if you wait until warmer temperatures, it would wipe it out real quickly. And on the Poa, it looked to me like not quite as good of results. I mean, I can see the discoloration, and it is slowing down the growth compared, again, to the untreated that's significantly larger, and of course the untreated ryegrass here versus what has been sprayed. So, you know, I guess based on this, it's not necessarily, again, trying to say this product's better than that product. Both products worked on both weeds. There's a number of factors to consider, but, you know, it's hopefully teaching you something about the timing of the application and showing you the effectiveness of it, and hopefully getting across the point that, hey, the fall pre-emergent is the way to go to prevent these. And if you see them early in the year, go ahead and spray them as quick as possible. Even though the weather is cold, hopefully you can spray them before they become noticeable in the lawn or in a customer's lawn. And yes, they will die. It's just a slow, lengthy process in cooler temperatures. I really appreciate you watching the video. Over at lawncarelife.com, that's my website. There are some resources available for you if you're looking to get into weed control and fertilization business. We have a weed control and fertilization video course. It comes with a lot of videos, a lot of resources to help you put together your program and your pricing and things like that. And we even have a hands-on interactive thing that we're starting up in March of 2021, where we have 20 spots available and where it'll be a live interactive group, and it comes with all the courses as well. So if you're looking to get into weed control business, then go to lawncarelife.com and check those out. Thanks a lot. Talk to you guys later. Bye.